Hi everyone, welcome back to this video. In this video, I want to take you through a Calendly step-by-step tutorial to show you how you can schedule your own Calendly event to be able to then share with other people, with your network, with clients, for your business, for other projects that you may be working on as well, just to make everything easier for how you're scheduling your next meetings and client bookings. So if you don't know what Calendly is, it's essentially a scheduling automation tool that allows you to set up certain events to then create meetings and client bookings without having to go all the back and forths via email or messages. You can just set your availability either manually or syncing it to your existing calendars, so that way it can generate an availability based on that, and then you can just simply share your Calendly link to other people you want to connect with or book meetings and calls with, and they can see all your availability without having to ask you and go back and forth. So it simplifies the whole process and allows you to automate the client bookings and the actual meetings that you want to start to schedule in. So let's get straight into the tutorial. So you can see here, I've already got Calendly open. I've got a few events that I already have turned on at the moment for my business, and I've got a few that are turned off, which I'll show you what that means in a second. So to start off, we're just going to go through some of the menu options. Now you can see here, there's things like schedule events, where you can see all of your upcoming events, which at the moment I don't have any. You can see any contacts if you add any contacts through a team environment or anything like that. Workflows is another good one, where you can actually set up specific workflows based on things like text booking confirmations to invitees, and this will allow you to obviously send reminders out to anyone who's booked calls with you. Now, analytics is one that pretty much just shows you all of your data based on how many meetings you have, based on the time that you spend in your meetings, how many of them you have per week, per month, and you can obviously set the appropriate time frame you want to check the analytics for. Now, the main thing we want to look at here is just event types. This is where you're going to be doing majority of your work. This is where you're going to actually create an event. So all we have to simply do is go new event type. Then you can actually select what type of event you want, whether it's a one-to-one, a group, collective, or round robin. Now, I'm not going to go into all these bottom three options. I just want to focus on one-to-one. It's pretty much the most common type of Calendly event. So I'm just going to do the tutorial based on setting up a one-on-one meeting. So yes, you'll choose the host, which will be you when you set up the account. You can go next. And then here is where you start to set up your event type. So you name an event. I'm just going to call this test event. Duration, you want to set how long this actual specific event you want it to run for, whether it's 30 minutes, 45, 60, 15, or you can go custom as well. Just for this tutorial, I'm going to keep it at 30. Now, what you want to do here is set the actual location that you want to run the meeting. So whether it's a Zoom call, you want to do a phone call, in-person meetings, or you can do other options like Google Meet, Teams, WebEx, and other applications. I'm just going to put Zoom location for this one. And obviously, if you haven't already, it'll prompt you to connect your Zoom account and log in through that way. Now, all we just do is hit continue. Once we've hit continue, it'll take you to different events settings that you need to set. So for example, you want to set how long you want to actually allow people to book for in advance, whether that's 60 days, which obviously is quite a long time. So usually you can do something like, 5 days is usually a good amount of time. Sometimes you can do a month, 30 days if you want to do that, or you can even set date ranges. Now you can then set availabilities that you would like to have for this event. For example, this one here is set from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Sydney, Melbourne time, and I can change that if I want to. So if I go to edit for this event type only, I can set specific times for Monday, or custom for Tuesday, Wednesday, or I can do the same for all of them. That's completely your choice. Now, once you do that and you set the actual availability time, you can then also sync your calendar, whether it be Google Calendar or any other one, to your Calendly, so that way within the time frame you've set. So for example, in this example, it'll be between 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. and it'll also make sure it doesn't actually overlap with anything else I have in my calendar based on that specific time window. So we can just close that one. And then we can go to booking page options. Now, this will just show you the actual link name, which is fine. We can leave it at that. Usually we'll just call it whatever the event is called. Now, here's a very important part. This is the questions you want your invitees to answer when they're actually, going to book in a time and a call with you. So, for example, a standard one is please share anything that will help prepare for our meeting, and this is a multiple lines answer. You can add new questions, and you can put in whatever question you want. So I'm just going to put in test question, and then you can select what answer type you want it to be. Whether it's just a one-line answer, multiple lines, buttons, checkboxes, a drop-down menu, or you want them to put in their phone number. So, for example, if you select drop-down menu, you can actually put all the options you want for the answers to be, and you can also obviously continuously add as many as you want. So, same thing with if you want it as a checkbox, you can put as many different options you want, and then when you hit done, it will make sure that it's also a question to show the invitee when they're booking a call with you. So you can obviously set as many questions as you want there. And now you can also set collect payment, which I'll show you how to actually sync collecting payments just after I set this event. So if you want to collect payment, you can actually put the amount to be collected, and you can select a certain currency out of these options here and how you want to collect that payment. And you can even put some terms if you want. And then after booking, you either select if you want to just display the general Calendly confirmation page, or you actually want to redirect to an external site. That's obviously an option that's up to you. If you want to redirect to an external site, you can simply just put in the URL that you want them to get redirected to after they confirm the booking, and then it'll take them straight to that. But if you do leave it as a Calendly confirmation page, it'll just give them obviously just a page that says you've successfully booked in your meeting, etc., etc. So I'm just going to save and close this and pretend like we've just set up our first event. What's the error? Do not collect. And we're just going to go save and close. All right, now we're just going to go back to the home screen. So you can see here my test event is now set up. What I actually want to show you is how to integrate certain applications like your calendar app, as well as any payments like Stripe that you can start to collect and add into your event. So if I go to integrations and apps, this is where you can select, for example, payments, and you can see it'll take Stripe and PayPal payments. So you can easily just select that and then set up and connect your Stripe account. So then you can actually put in a dollar amount if you want to take payments for a specific call. If you're a coach or consultant, you can obviously do it that way as well. Now, if we go to calendars, you can also sync, Google Calendar, Outlook, iCloud Calendar, and Exchange. Obviously, the most popular one would probably be Google Calendar, but of course, if you use any other one, that's totally fine too. It has the capabilities to connect with any of these four. So if you select on Google Calendar, it will ask you to simply just log in, and it will sync the two, and then it will integrate Calendly with your existing calendar tool that you use. And that way, it will make sure that you don't have any inconsistencies or overlapping events based on what you've actually put into your calendar. So if I show you here for mine, if I just click on my drop down and I go to calendar sync, you can see here I've got two calendars synced up, so you can actually select more than one and sync them and integrate them with Calendly. I've got my personal and business one. And then you can see here at the bottom, it says check for conflicts. This is where essentially you're telling Calendly to check your existing integrated calendars for any conflicting events to prevent double bookings. So that way, if I set, the availability between 9 a.m. and 6 p.m., it will then make sure that no one books. If I've got, for example, I'm going to the gym at 2 p.m. to 2 to 3 p.m. and I've got that in my calendar, it will automatically block out that time for people to select from the event type, even though I've put in 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. availability. So it's very important to sync your calendar if you haven't already, because it will stop any double bookings from occurring, and then that way you don't have to explain to the client or whoever's booking that you can't make it, etc., etc. It just doesn't really set a good impression if you have to go and cancel it because you accidentally double booked. And at the same time, as well as checking for conflicts, you can also select which calendar you want it to add to. So for me, I've automatically set the calendar Calendly to set and add any events to my business calendar rather than my personal one. So I will see any events booked in my business one, but it will check for conflicts in both business and personal. So it's very important to make sure that you do that the right way and make sure you obviously have that whole process integrated correctly. And then what you need to also do is when you've selected and set up your event, you want to just make sure it's working correctly and want to view the booking page. So if you select view booking page, this is essentially what the invitees will see. They'll obviously see the month, they'll be able to select from the date and the times that will be available based on the schedule that you've set. So for me, for example, from 7 a.m. to 12 p.m., I've blocked out something of, I've got my deep work time, and then 12 to 2, I've got other personal commitments, which is why between 2 p.m. and 5:30 is the only times it's showing for that day, because my calendar's got things in between, like before and after then. So that's also a really good example and a test to see if it's actually synced correctly with your calendar. So this is what the general users will see. Another thing to make note of is if you want to share the link anywhere on your social platforms, via email or anything like that, you want to make sure you hit copy link, and then you can paste it in wherever you need to then send to someone or to put publicly on your socials, etc. So that way people can get sent to this exact booking page. Another link you can share is your general Calendly link, which if I click on that, it will show all the current turned on events that I have, and then someone can select any of the 4 options that I've got available at the moment. If you want to send anyone to your actual general Calendly page, that includes all different events. The last thing I want to do is just go over the pricing of Calendly. So there's actually some pretty good options here. There's a free option, so anyone can get started. It allows you to have one event type with unlimited meetings, and you can connect one calendar as well. So there's some good basic integrations there, and it allows you to just get started if you're really unsure about which plan you want to go for or how you want to actually use Calendly. You can definitely test it out for free. Then you've got your standard, which probably majority of people will go for, which allows you to create unlimited events, multiple calendars for availability and scheduling, and you can integrate it with a lot of different applications as well. So these will probably be the most common option that you will go for. And then obviously if you want to go for teams or enterprise, that's obviously probably the rare circumstances that someone will go for any of those 2 options. But standard is what you'd be looking for. So $10 a month is actually not too bad at all, but you can also start on the free option if you prefer. So that is a Calendly tutorial, and that is everything you need to know to get started with the software and start to integrate and automate your scheduled events with clients, with colleagues, with people who you may want to sign as a client, and just to, like I said, share the link on your social media profiles, send it to people directly via messages or emails, and just make the whole scheduling process for you a lot easier. I hope you found this tutorial very helpful, and hopefully it can help get you started with starting to schedule your own events and using Calendly to just simplify and automate your overall workflow and just help you with your overall day-to-day tasks and improve your productivity. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care.